and I've been involved in hundreds of learning management system implementations over the past 20 years. I just have a few slides that I want to take take a look at as we go through some of the aspects of how you can use a learning management system, and specifically work plan learning, to transform learning in the community housing industry. So certainly there are some specific challenges and opportunities in the for community housing providers. Some of these are, of course, very similar to all different types of organizations around the world. This ability to develop capability and deliver quality services, in this case to sustain tenancies. The issues surrounding having a diverse and inclusive workforce is common, but certainly it's important to have services, housing services delivered in a culturally safe way, as well as keeping staff well and engaged. Specifically, keeping staff well is a legal requirement under workplace health and safety, as well as keeping them engaged. And we'll speak a little bit more about keeping and the importance of having an engaged workforce a little bit later too. But certainly training and support for workers to help them deliver high quality housing services is can be a challenge. Another area that I just quickly want to touch on is ESG, and that's certainly a very hot topic, not only for community housing providers, but for organizations around the world, referring to environmental, social, and governance criteria for evaluating organizational success. That is success beyond just the profits of that business. Specifically, ESG challenges leaders to move away from focusing on short-term profit and to long-term sustainability in the interest of shareholders. So for for-profit companies, that's certainly valuable. For community housing providers, it's also very important in that it redefines success towards making the world and the planet a better place over the long term. ESG also does impact employees in terms of how they work within an organization. There is a People in Planet 5 survey that, of course, is being promoted by organizations such as Gallup, that will go in and we'll take a look at how this can be presented within work plan learning. But in terms of having an environmental, social, and governance survey for your employees, these are 5 very important questions that impact what you can include in an ESG, report to the board. What is interesting, I suppose, about these 5 questions that are being used at a global level is some of those results. And basically, these are the results from Gallup, who have probably hundreds of thousands of people on different continents providing responses to them on these 5 questions. And what's important to note here is that the results are not very good. Especially when we're looking at those that relate to employee performance and development, or learning and development. It's basically showing that only 48% of the people at that 75th percentile are saying that there's someone at work who encourages their development or cares about their overall well-being. And that is probably fairly accurate when it comes to other studies that are out there. And we're going to look at one relating to employee engagement. And as I mentioned, we would talk a little bit about that because employee engagement does have a significant impact on employee performance as well as their retention. Are they going to stick around at your organization? And then are they aligned to what you're trying to achieve in your organization, including possibly, ESG objectives? So when we're looking at what is employee engagement and why is it important, there are lots of ways in which you can define employee engagement. One of them is, are they connected to your organization? And that also reflects in their commitment to your organization. Do they feel connected? Then impacts that commitment that they have. And it's that commitment that a staff member may have that directly impacts their performance and their productivity. When we look at employee engagement, it is a little bit more about, are they happy or sad? It is about that commitment and how they feel about the value of their contribution to the organization. So if employees feel valued and feel that their contribution is valued, then they're going to be more actively engaged in advancing your organizational goals. How is that related to your organization, or what does the research say out there? Well, Deloitte a few years ago did no, sorry, this is still Gallup research. Gallup did some research a few years ago and looked at employee engagement and based it on, are people engaged according to a survey? And if we take 100 employees, they found that 16 of those employees would be actively disengaged. Now, you may not have 100 employees. Let's say you have 10 employees. Well, that means about 1.5 of them may be actively disengaged, and they're miserable in the workplace, and they're actually destroying what most of the engaged employees are trying to build. Out of that 100, again, a further 51 are not engaged. They're just hanging around to get paid. And again, that in an organization of 10 employees would be 5 out of 10 employees. When we're looking at who is actually engaged, they found that 33 of that 100 employees are actively engaged in helping you try to achieve your goals. So again, if you're looking at 10 employees, 1.5 of them are actively disengaged and trying to destroy what you're trying to build. 55 of them would be just kind of hanging around to get paid. And then only 3 of the employees are really actively engaged trying to help you achieve. Now, of course, these are global standards, but Gallup research is usually global, so it covers all continents. And so they might be slightly different here in Australia, but that's a general benchmark. So why is engagement so important to an organization? Because it results in higher productivity. More engaged employees means you're going to get better results. You're going to have lower absenteeism, lower employee turnover, better customer satisfaction. So your tenants will be happier, fewer defects and errors in the work that's being performed. Your employees will feel better, they'll have better health outcomes, and there will be less theft of property and theft, as well as fewer safety incidents. We're going to take a look now at how you can create engaged and more productive employees, and possibly even tenants that are aligned to your organizational goals. And certainly, this is the Deloitte report that I was referring to. One of the primary ways that you can have more engaged employees is through learning opportunities. It's one of the largest drivers of employee engagement and a strong workplace culture. And they're really part of that employee value proposition, not just a way to build skills. Of course, building skills is important. And when we look at work plan learning, it is designed to be, and I was interested in what you were saying, top down, bottom up approach, because work plan learning is a collaborative platform. It's designed for everyone really to be able to create and share content. It can be locked down so that it's only for subject matter experts or only for L&D teams. But the general premise is that in an organization, everyone needs to create and share and collaborate. It is also a platform to align employees to their team objectives and the organizational goals. It fosters accountability and collective success by aligning the learning and knowledge sharing to the team objectives. There are over 1,000 ready-to-use modules, or you can create your own. They can be available as online resources or as part of personalized learning experiences through coaching and mentoring as well. You can also use it to track compliance. So whether that's workplace health and safety, harassment, privacy, community housing policy documents, police working with children checks, you can use work plan learning to document that as well. So let's go in and have a look.